Have you ever experienced the heart-stopping joy of a loved one returning after days of terrifying uncertainty? Today, witness the emotional reunion of Quang, who suddenly returns home after days of disappearance, bringing tears of happiness to his mother and Linda. Feel every heartbeat as Linda bursts into tears, embracing Quang in a tender, unbreakable hug. Follow them as their love unfolds in sweet, lingering kisses and quiet promises, culminating in a romantic evening together filled with laughter, a cozy dinner, and a serene stroll beneath the stars. Subscribe now and join this unforgettable journey of love, reunion, and pure emotion. After days of anxious waiting and sleepless nights filled with worry, Quang finally returned. His absence had left a heavy emptiness in the house, a void that neither time nor words could fill. The house had been unnaturally quiet, the ticking of the clock sounding louder than usual, each second stretching endlessly for his loved ones. His mother had paced the living room countless times, her eyes scanning the doorway in hope, while Linda had sat by the window, her fingers nervously tracing the condensation that formed from the late afternoon sun. Every shadow, every creak of the wooden floor, made her heart skip a beat, fearing it might be another disappointment. And then, as if the universe finally granted her wish, the front door swung open, and there he was. Quang stepped inside with a calm yet weary presence, his eyes immediately finding his mother and Linda. The tension that had bound the room dissolved instantly, replaced by a wave of relief so overwhelming it threatened to sweep them all off their feet. His mother's lips trembled, her hands clutching her chest as tears spilled freely down her cheeks. "Quang," she whispered, her voice breaking under the weight of her emotions. Linda, unable to contain herself, bolted forward, her sobs echoing through the room, sharp yet filled with pure joy. She flung herself into his arms as if she had been holding her breath for weeks and had only just exhaled. Her tears soaked his shirt, but Quang held her tightly, letting her cry freely, letting her emotions pour into his chest. He gently stroked her hair, feeling the warmth of her relief, the closeness they had both longed for during his absence. The air between them was thick with unspoken words, memories of the days apart, the fears, and the longing. Each heartbeat seemed to synchronize in perfect harmony, Quang's steady pulse grounding Linda, her rapid breaths calming his own restlessness. His mother stepped closer, her eyes glistening, voice quivering as she struggled to speak. I was so worried about you," she said, reaching out to hold his hand, her grip both gentle and desperate. Quang's lips curved into a small, reassuring smile, though his own eyes mirrored the turmoil of the past days. In that moment, time seemed to pause, leaving only the three of them in a cocoon of emotion, tethered together by love, fear, and relief. Linda's cries softened, her head resting on Quang's shoulder, feeling the rise and fall of his chest. Her sobs were no longer of fear, but of uncontainable joy, a release of the tension that had built up in her heart. Quang whispered softly into her hair, his voice a balm against the lingering ache of separation. He reminded her, without needing words, that he was finally here, that she was safe, that the emptiness she had felt would no longer exist. His mother, standing nearby, watched with a mixture of happiness and lingering worry, feeling the warmth of her son's presence surround them, filling every corner of the room that had been cold and quiet for far too long. In that reunion, each tear shed was a testament to their enduring bond, a proof that love had weathered the storm of absence. Linda clung to Quang like a lifeline, her small hands gripping his shirt, as if letting go would undo the miracle of his return. And Quang, with a steady yet tender embrace, held her close, promising silently, with every heartbeat and every breath, that he would never let her feel the despair of loss again. The room, once shadowed by anxiety, now radiated with warmth and relief, a vivid reminder that home is not a place, but the people who wait and love you through every trial. As Linda's sobs began to soften, Quang held her a little tighter, feeling the rhythm of her heart against his own. The embrace that had started as a release of longing slowly transformed into a tender, intimate connection, a silent conversation of love and reassurance that words could never fully capture. Their foreheads rested against each other, breaths mingling, and for a moment, the world outside ceased to exist. The house, once echoing with uncertainty and fear, now vibrated with the warmth of reunion, the air saturated with the quiet intensity of unspoken promises. Quang gently lifted his gaze to meet Linda's eyes, still glistening with tears, and in that gaze, they found all the words they had left unsaid during the days apart. Then, without warning, their lips met. The kiss was long, slow, and filled with the sweetness of relief, the taste of love rekindled, a physical expression of everything their hearts had been screaming. It was not a hurried kiss but one that savored every second, every breath, as if trying to compress weeks of separation into a single, perfect moment. Linda's hands wandered to Quang's shoulders, holding him as if she could anchor him to her, while Quang's arms circled her, pulling her impossibly close. The warmth of their bodies, the trembling of their lips, the shared sighs, all of it painted a vivid tapestry of passion and devotion. Each second felt eternal, yet fleeting, a delicate paradox that only deepened their connection. Quang's mother watched from nearby, her heart swelling with both joy and relief. Her eyes glistened as she took in the sight of her son and Linda lost in each other's arms. She could see the love radiating from them, tangible and pure, the kind that could survive absence and fear, a love that only grew stronger with each trial. She felt tears welling again, but this time they were tears of happiness, a cathartic release of the anxiety and worry that had gripped her for so long. The sight of her son so tender, so devoted, and of Linda so completely vulnerable in his embrace, made her believe that nothing could ever truly harm their bond, after what felt like an eternity yet passed in mere minutes. They slowly pulled back, foreheads still touching, smiles faint but genuine. Linda's lips quivered into a soft smile, a mixture of lingering emotion and newfound peace, and Quang brushed a stray strand of hair from her face, his fingers lingering on her cheek. "I'm here," he whispered, voice steady yet filled with emotion. "I'm not going anywhere this time." And in that promise, Linda felt the remaining fragments of fear dissolve. She nodded, leaning into him again, silently conveying her own commitment and trust. Their reunion had transcended mere physical closeness. It had become a sanctuary of hearts, a quiet declaration that together, they could face anything. For a while, they simply stayed like that, wrapped in each other's arms, allowing the lingering tension and unspoken worries to melt away. Every heartbeat, every inhale and exhale, became a shared rhythm, a mutual understanding that absence had only strengthened, not weakened, their bond. Quang's hands moved slowly over Linda's back, tracing gentle circles that spoke of love, comfort, and protection. Linda, in return, rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart, a pulse that reassured her that the past days of fear and uncertainty had ended. In that small, intimate space, surrounded by the warmth of their shared presence, the world outside seemed irrelevant. The room that had been shadowed by fear and longing now shimmered with quiet joy and deep affection. In the embrace, in the lingering kisses, in the gentle strokes and whispered promises, Quang and Linda found the reassurance they had both craved, that love could endure, that separation could be overcome, and that together, they were stronger than any challenge that life might throw their way. And as they slowly pulled apart, just enough to see each other clearly, their eyes met once again, sparkling with tears, laughter, and the unbreakable bond of hearts reunited. After a long, tender embrace that seemed to suspend time itself, Quang gently took Linda's hand, feeling the warmth of her skin against his. With a soft smile, he guided her toward the door, their fingers intertwined as if forming an unspoken promise that they would never be separated again. The cool evening air welcomed them outside, carrying the subtle scent of blooming flowers and the faint hum of the city coming to life at dusk. Every step they took together felt deliberate, a silent celebration of the moments they had longed for during his absence. Linda's heart fluttered with excitement and relief, each beat echoing the rhythm of their shared happiness. Quang led her to a small, cozy restaurant he had chosen deliberately, a place where the lights were warm and soft, the ambience intimate, and the aroma of delicious food hung in the air like a gentle embrace. They were seated at a corner table, away from the bustling chatter of other diners, as if the world had shrunk to just the two of them. Menus lay forgotten on the table for a moment, their eyes meeting over the candlelight, and for a brief instant, neither of them needed words. The soft glow highlighted the sparkle in Linda's tear-filled eyes and the calm, protective expression on Quang's face, capturing a portrait of love that had weathered fear and separation. Their conversation began gently, tentative at first, as they shared pieces of their time apart, stories of small moments, fears overcome, and the longing that had defined the past days. Linda laughed softly, the sound light and musical, and Quang felt a surge of joy ripple through him, a healing balm for the anxiety that had gripped both of them. He reached across the table, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face, and she leaned into his touch, her smile widening. Each gesture, each glance, reinforced the connection they had fought so hard to preserve. The food arrived, but neither of them seemed eager to eat immediately. Instead, they savored the presence of each other, letting the meal become a secondary delight to the feast of emotions unfolding between them. After dinner, Quang suggested a walk, and Linda agreed without hesitation. Hand in hand, they strolled along the quiet streets, the city lights casting gentle reflections on the pavement. The evening air was crisp, carrying laughter and faint music from nearby cafes, but their focus remained solely on one another. They spoke in hushed tones, sharing dreams and hopes, reminiscing about their favorite memories, and planning for a future that now seemed brighter and more certain. Every word, every touch, every smile strengthened the invisible thread connecting their hearts. Linda occasionally leaned her head on Quang's shoulder, and he held her close, feeling a sense of completeness that had been absent during his disappearance. As they wandered further, they found a small park, serene and nearly empty, with the soft glow of lampposts reflecting on the pond. Quang led Linda to a bench beneath a flowering tree, the petals gently drifting in the evening breeze. They sat together, shoulders touching, sharing quiet laughter and gentle teasing, the kind that only comes naturally between two people who truly know and love each other. At one point, Quang lifted Linda's hand and pressed a soft kiss to her knuckles, eliciting a shy, delighted giggle from her. It was a moment both simple and profound, a reaffirmation that after fear, worry, and longing, they were finally free to exist fully in the happiness of now. As the night deepened, neither wanted it to end. Their walk, their conversation, the laughter, the subtle touches, all created a memory they would carry in their hearts forever. Quang pulled Linda close once more, wrapping his arms around her and resting his chin gently on her head. Linda's eyes closed, her breath slowing, her heart settling into the safe rhythm of his embrace. In that quiet, magical moment, the world outside ceased to matter. They had found each other again, whole and undivided, and it felt as though nothing, neither distance, fear, nor time, could ever take that away. Together, they sat beneath the stars, hearts intertwined, savoring the simple yet profound truth, that love, when true, always finds its way home.